Hi everyone, welcome to this month's video of my stock earnings for the month of April. And April has been an interesting month. I have gone back into the forest and testing out my camera and lens combination with the 70D and the 400mm f5.6L prime lens. And I've been bumping up the shutter speeds so that the motion is really captured of the birds, but that's also raising the ISO. So I've been testing the denoise solution in Lightroom to see how that handles the higher ISOs. And that's kind of just an idea in my head to see whether image stabilization is really necessary. Also, whether a crop sensor is that much of a disadvantage when it comes to low light, high ISO photos. Yeah, I haven't uploaded any stock images this month. I've been focusing on trying to get that book editing finished. I'm 2/3 of the way through it now, so I'm hoping that it'll be done and over with in a month or two. With regards to gear, my dated setup, the Canon 70D and the Sigma EF-S 17 to 50 medium zoom 2.8 and the 70 to 200mm EF Sigma 2.8 zoom is going to be superseded this year. And I've pretty much decided that I'll go with the Canon R8 at 1,500 euros, full frame, really good video specs. It looks like a bargain I can't go past. I've already tested the Canon R7 crop sensor body, which has got inbuilt image stabilization, but there were a few things about that I didn't like. The really high megapixel sensor, the lack of lenses available for it, and just the thing, you have to buy these really high quality L lenses in order to get the most out of that 32 point something megapixel sensor, and it just really grates on me. Whereas the Canon R8 has a 24 megapixel full frame sensor, so I think I can even adapt my old Sigma f2.8 to it. Okay, so we'll get into my results for the month of April for stock photography and videography, and we'll start off with Getty iStock. Bit of a disappointing month for Getty iStock. I only made $9.36, and I had 2 video sales which only amounted to $2.50, and there weren't any real highlights. It was pretty much just a lot of average prices. The most I got for a single sale was like $1.50, so no highlights at all for Getty iStock. Alamy continues to disappoint for the 2nd or 3rd month in a row, and no sales with Alamy. Did get a surprise with Dreamstime in April, and I actually I think, apart from Shutterstock, made the highest photo sale with Dreamstime this month. Couple of highlights was one of a wild conic pony, which I took several years ago in a nature reserve called the Oostvaardersplassen in the Netherlands, and there were 2 horses on a hill fighting, and what I did was I photoshopped the horse on the right out so that it just looks like a single horse jumping up, and that was a commercial photo, and I sold that for $2. Another photo highlight was one for $2 of an editorial photo that I took in 2017 at Scheveningen at the air-cooled VW Combi exhibition at the beach, and that photo sold for $2, and that was an editorial photo. The highest paying one for Dreamstime was of a really boring subject of a whole pile of discarded cigarette butts lying on the ground, and that one sold for $4.09, and that was an editorial photo. Onto the small fish agency now, and that consists of Big Stock, 123 RF, Deposit Photos, and IEM. I've read that IEM is actually now bankrupt or something. I don't know if that's 100% true. It's a real shame to me if it is, because I actually sold quite a few photos on IEM. So that's yet another source of income drying up, and the pond getting smaller. So that's a shame. For the small fish agency, I only made $3.20. I don't think I'm going to upload to Big Stock anymore, or 123 RF. It's just not really worth my time. Okay, on to Adobe Stock now, and I only made $16.88 with that agency. I didn't upload any assets to any agencies in April because I'm just trying to get this book finished and also busy with family and work. But once the book is out, then I'll be really hammering the stock assets. A couple of highlights. Well, one highlight I was happy about was a photo of an Atlantic salmon in the water, which I took last summer in Tasmania. And that's a commercial photo, and that sold for 44 cents. Not very spectacular, but I just like the fact that I sold it. And there was also two photos of some citrus fruit up close. One in a portrait or vertical mode, or style mode, and one in a landscape. And they both sold for $1.72. Okay, and last but not least for Adobe, I sold an editorial photo of a KLM 747 coming into land at Schiphol Airport. I've heard that Boeing are not making 747s anymore, so maybe that photo will turn out to be a historical photo. When the last 747 is no longer in service with KLM, then maybe people will want to use that photo for nostalgia and looking back and history. That was $1.65 editorial. And Pond5 continues to disappoint. I sold one asset. It was a bit bizarre. It said additional revenue, and it didn't say who bought it, and it also did not say what the asset was that sold. It sold for $1.71, which is pretty unspectacular, and I have a feeling it was one of my photos or videos, most likely a video, was used for some artificial intelligence, or maybe a photo, who knows. Okay, now on to Shutterstock, where I had 57 sales. A couple of highlights were a photo in the Amsterdam red light district. It was actually of a metal 3D printed bridge which was put over one of the canals in the red light district, and it was opened by the Queen of the Netherlands a few years ago. So I took the Canon RP and the Super Zoom 24 to 240 millimeter out for my test, and I photographed that as one of the test photos to upload to the stock agencies. And the month started out really good, really well with Shutterstock, because that editorial photo sold for $19.74. Unfortunately, the month petered out after that, so that was a bit disappointing. A couple of other highlights were of a commercial photo of the daffodils. That sold for $2.90, and overall I've made $90 on Shutterstock from that photo alone, and it sold 182 times. A real low light, and this is the trend with Shutterstock lately. Last month I sold 12 videos for $6 something, and that absolutely crushed me. My commission rate with videos is still, I think, on the first level or maybe the second level. So I'm not getting very many or very much commission per sale of a video. But I sold 7 videos for $2.80, which leaves a very bitter taste in my mouth. Maybe after all of these video sales I'll be going up in the commission rankings, but next January they'll just shove me down into the first rank again. Good on you, Shutterstock. Another highlight was of a editorial photo that I took about 5 years ago in a neighborhood called the Schilderswijk in The Hague, and it was a very narrow street of very old vintage houses, and that photo sold for $2.21. In total for Shutterstock I made $35.74. Okay, before I tell you the total amount I made for April, I'm saving up for a Canon R8 camera. So far I've saved about 500 euros, so I've only got about 1,000 to go to get the body. So if anything in this video has helped you, please give it a like, and if you feel like donating a cup of coffee or to the Canon R8 Fund, feel free to do that as well. Thanks for that. In total for the month of April 2023, I made $76.64. So I'm hoping my book will be over and done with in a month or so, and then I can get back to the business of uploading stock assets. How did your April go? Probably better than mine. Anyway, I look forward to hearing about your month all in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.
I sometimes dream about you all the time.